Hello, students. I hope you all are fine. So, today our topic is non tax revenue sources. But before that, we need to understand what is revenue. Revenue is the income earned by the government. Revenue are of two types, tax revenue and non tax revenue. Tax revenue is the income that is gained by the government through taxation. Non tax revenue is the income earned by the government from sources other than taxes. The various non tax revenue sources are as follows. First is fees. A tax is paid compulsorily without any written services, whereas fees is paid in return for specific services rendered by the government. Example, education fee, registration fee, etc. It means that whenever we are utilizing government services like education, we are paying fees for them. Next is prices of public goods and services. Modern governments sell various types of commodities and services to the citizen. A price is a payment made by the citizen to the government for the goods and services sold to them. Example, railway fares, postal charges, etc. It means that whenever we are using public goods and services, we are paying prices for them. Example, the railway facility, the postal facility, if we are utilizing, we are paying the prices for those public goods and services. Next is special assessment. The payment made by the citizen to a particular locality in exchange to certain facilities given to them by the authorities is known as special assessment. Example, local bodies can levy a special tax on the residents of a particular area where extra special facilities of road, energy, water supply, etc. are being provided. Now, special assessment tax is the tax which is levied on the citizens for providing special facilities to them. For example, if in a particular area we have special facilities like jogging parks, or we can say the gardens, public parks, so for them special assessment tax is being paid to the government by the citizens. Next is fines and penalties. The government imposes fines and penalties on those who violates the laws of the country. The objective of the imposition of the fines and penalties is not to earn income, but to discourage the citizen from violating the laws framed by the government. Example, fines for violating the traffic rules. However, the income from this source is small. Now, fines and penalties are levied on those citizens who are violating government laws. Example, if anyone is violating traffic rules, that citizen is subjected to fines and penalties. Fines and penalties are not a source of income to the government, but they are levied so that the citizen does not commit the same mistake again. Next is gifts, grants and donation. The government may also earn some income in form of gifts by the citizens and other. The government may also receive grants from the foreign governments and institutions for general specific purposes. Foreign aid has become an important source of development finance for a developing country like India. However, this source of revenue is uncertain in nature. Now, certain citizens are giving certain amount of money to the government in form of gifts, grants or donation. Also, certain foreign institutions are providing foreign aid to our developing country like India so that they can help them financially. Next is special levies. This is levied on those commodities the consumption of which is harmful for well-being of the citizen. Like fines and penalty, the objective of such income is not to earn income but to discourage the consumption of harmful commodity by the citizen. Example, the duties levied on wine, opium and other intoxicant. So it means that the special levies are money, or we can say charges, which is levied on commodities which are harmful for the health of the human being. Example, we can take of the wine, opium or cigarettes. Now certain special taxes are being levied on them so that the consumption of this commodity can be reduced. so that there are no harmful effect on the citizen. Next is borrowings. The government can borrow from the people in the form of deposits, bonds, etc. It also gets loan from the foreign governments and organizations like IMF, World Bank, etc. Loans are becoming more and more popular sources of revenue for the government in the modern times. Borrowings, it means that whenever government is in need of money, it can borrow that money from the people. That money will be in the form of deposits or bonds, etc. Also, government can get loan from foreign institutions or foreign organizations like IMF and World Bank. Also, loans are more popular form of revenue for the government. It means whenever government is in need of money, it can take loans from the banks. Our next topic is goods and services tax, that is GST. The goods and services tax came into effect in India on July 1st, 2017. It was proposed by the Kelkar Task Force on Implementation of the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management, that is FRBM Act, in July 2004. The 101 Amendment and the Constitution Act 2016 provided for the constitution of the Goods and Services Tax Council, that is GSTC, comprising of the Union Finance Minister, the Minister of State, and the Finance Ministers of each states, empowering the council to make recommendations on the GST rates, exemptions, thresholds of the tax, etc. This passage gives us a brief introduction of how GST came into existence. GST is different from an excise or sales tax imposed as a single stage levy on the manufacture or sale of a product. It is a comprehensive tax base with nationwide coverage of goods and services. It means that a GST has nationwide coverage as it is applicable all over the country. GST would replace the following taxes levied and collected by the center and the states, such as central excise duty, service tax, additional duties of customs, state value added tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, etc. It means that all these taxes are merged under one tax, that is GST. Now, the different types of GST are as follows. First is Central Goods and Services Tax, that is CGST. It is a tax levied on interstate supplies of both goods and services by the central government, which will be governed by the CGST Act. It means it is levied by the central government on supply of goods and services within two states. Next is State Goods and Services Tax, that is SGST. This tax is received by the state in which the goods or services are consumed and not by the state in which these goods are manufactured. It means SGST is received by the state who consume those goods and services and not by the state who manufacture those goods and services. Next is Integrated Goods and Services Tax. It is a tax levied on all interstate supply of goods and services which will be governed by the IGST Act. It means that IGST Act govern interstate supply of all goods and services. Next is compensation part. It is for the loss of expected income on the part of the state government. It means that when the state faces loss of revenue on account of implementation of GST, then this act provides compensation to that state. Now we will be seeing what are the expected benefits of GST. First is creation of a unified common national market for India. As all goods and services are charged a common tax, that is GST, a unified common national market is created for India. Next is boost to foreign investment and Make in India campaign. Foreign investment has boosted up due to GST. Also, Make in India campaign is an initiative by the government to encourage Indian companies to grow domestic manufacturing products in all sector and to increase the GDP of the country. Next is harmonization of laws, procedure and rates of taxes. It means that due to GST, the laws, procedure and rate of taxes are all going together and there is a sync between all of them. It is also giving boost to export and manufacturing activity. GST has boosted up export and manufacturing activity. Also, improvement in the overall investment climate in the country. The foreign as well as domestic investment has increased due to GST. Simplifying the tax system in the country. Tax system is simplified and made easier due to GST. Improvement, reducing the final prices of the goods. Final price of goods is reduced as only one tax is applicable. Then we have boost to the industrial sector. Because of GST, the industrial sector is boosted up. Also, poverty eradication by generating more employment and more financial resources. As there is growth in industrial sector, more employment is generated in the economy. Also, financial resources are created in economy because of GST. So, these were the benefits of the GST. Thank you.